What's up guys, today I have another compilation style video for you, this time from Japan. Undoubtedly one of the greatest food destinations in the entire world. Japan is one country that I have missed dearly since the beginning of the pandemic. So in this episode, I'm going to take you to try 31 of the top foods you must try on your next trip to Japan. Okay, our next snack today is a grilled scallop. It looks absolutely delicious. They are grilling these right over charcoal, and they put a little slab of butter in and some salt and pepper and a little bit of soy sauce as well. You can see it's kind of just bathing in its own juices there. So we've got the meaty parts of the scallop here, and then also other part of the scallop. So let me try one of these meaty parts by itself here first. Oh, it is extremely tender. It's a little bit salty and a little bit of spice from that pepper too, but really you can taste that butter. That butter is what's comprising all of that juice here. Almost finished with our scallop. It is just completely soaking in that butter, soy sauce, juice mixture. We've only got this piece here and the meat from the middle, so I'm gonna eat both those together and then chase that with some of the juice. Let's try that. That is salty, buttery, and delicious. Wow. So we just watched the show. That was amazing. They're so fast. And this is a special type of mochi. It's green, but not because of matcha. I think it's maybe because of something called mugwort or something. I can't remember. I'm gonna try it. Filled with fresh red beans, and it's still warm from them pounding it. It's really good. So you can see that it's paper thin. I've never seen sashimi sliced so thin I can barely pick it up with my chopsticks. And there we have it. I'm gonna actually take one of these green onions and maybe kind of wrap it up. And then we also have a ponzu sauce here that I'll dip it in. There's a couple things in here, some chili and some daikon radish. And let's try the infamous Fugu sashimi. The meat has a very interesting texture to it. It's got a lean, almost crunch to it, but at the same time, because it's thinly sliced, so thinly sliced, it's very easy to chew. So you can taste that texture or feel that texture. The flavor, slightly sweet. I think I have to try one with less of the ponzu sauce. So let me go in and try one of the overnight rehydrated pieces. Look at how thin that is. Just a very tiny dip of the ponzu this time, so I can taste that natural flavor. He recommended I put a piece of garlic on top and a little bit of salt and pepper. So let's just try that without sauce by itself first here. It's extremely juicy. It has a really amazing natural beef flavor. Extremely aromatic, wow. And super tender. Tender is an understatement. Oh man, that's better than I expected. The reason you come to this izakaya is for this dish here. This is their most famous, most popular dish, and seriously one of the most interesting things I've ever seen prepared. So this is broiled tuna. So he is blow torching this with flamethrower, you could say, and he is cooking these massive chunks of tuna and then tops them with chives, and he is grabbing them with his bare hand and dunking his hand in cold water and flipping these. It is one of the most incredible feats of cooking I have ever seen in my life, and it smells so good, so smoky. There's smoke filling the entire izakaya, well, pouring out onto the street, I guess I should say. But let's try this. I've been waiting so long to try this dish. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's like beef. It's like the Kobe beef we ate the other day. It is ridiculously tender, so ridiculously smoky too, and really nice with those chives. They give it kind of a fresh touch, but wow, you can taste just like pure smoke. And that is big chunks of tuna cheek. Wow, incredible. Today's episode is sponsored by Bokksu. This is an awesome curated Japanese snack box sent straight from Japan to your doorstep, and it's packed full of unique Japanese treats that you can try with your friends and family. Bokksu even works exclusively with Japanese candy makers that have been in business for over 100+ years to bring you some really unique candies and Japanese treats. It's just a lot of fun to break open your Bokksu and see what this month's box has to offer. There's always all kinds of different flavors and snacks you can try inside. And one of my favorite things about Japanese candies or treats is the packaging. It's always so kawaii, cute, really unique packaging. This is a Hokoko pastry called manju. It's stuffed with purple yam and it comes from Tokyo. Let's try it out. Oh wow, that is soft. Whoa, look at that color. There are so many different things inside the Bokksu, like this ume shiso flavored rice crackers, so pickled plum and perilla leaf flavored rice crackers, or these spicy heart-shaped senbei for the Valentine's Day special Bokksu, or this is really cool, this anpan from a place in Hokkaido called Hanma, which has been selling these anpans for over 100 years. Like I said, it's just a lot of fun. Every month it's changing, full of unique Japanese snacks that you can share with your friends and family. You can use my code ChopstickTravel10 and my link to get 10% off your Japanese snack box subscription from Bokksu, and you can start your snack journey across Japan at home. So we bought our sashimi downstairs. We actually bought another fish to get deep fried, and then we also ordered up another dish. But just check out the sashimi here. This is absolutely incredible. So they serve it to you in this boat. You can see it's like this plastic kind of boat. We've got this is a snub-nosed parrotfish with sashimi, just raw. And then I love the presentation that they have it set up here kind of stylishly. I'm going to try the sashimi, the parrotfish sashimi, which is also a specialty here in Okinawa. This beautiful blue and orange and vibrant colored fish, absolutely raw. So actually, let me just grab a piece of wasabi here. Grab a little bit of wasabi. Oh, grab my sashimi. A little bit of soy sauce. Let's try that. My first bite this time of sashimi in Japan. Oh man. Wow. It has amazing texture. It's soft, but it's kind of firm at the same time. The skin part, or the exterior of the fish, is quite firm, but the flesh is very soft. We've got our breakfast today, and that is this here. We've got a onigiri, which is a rice ball, but this is a very special type of onigiri. We waited at a very popular shop for about 30 minutes or so, and they are just making tons of these. So in Okinawa, there's actually a US military base, Kadena Air Base, and there is something like 20,000 Americans stationed there, so there's a pretty big American influence here in Okinawa, and you can actually see that in some of its food, including this onigiri here. So if you look here, you can actually see there's a fat piece of Spam on the inside of this. So it's very simple. It's just Spam, a kind of omelet egg, scrambled egg, and then wrapped up in some rice and some seaweed on the outside. It's gonna be my first time trying it. It's almost like a kind of hamburger. Wow. Oh wow. That's really good. That is surprisingly delicious. The Spam is actually really good. It's nice and salty, and it kind of helps contrast all that heavy rice and the egg. It's very simple, but it's actually full of flavor. It's quite hearty with all of those ingredients in there, that egg, that big slab of Spam, and then tons of rice. But honestly, I was a little bit deterred at first because there's Spam in it, and I'm not a big Spam fan, but it's really good. It just gives it the saltiness that it really needs. We have our takoyaki, and what it is something that is extremely famous here in Osaka, and it's sort of like a octopus batter ball. So first they fill this special kind of skillet filled with batter, and then they put a big chunk of octopus in the middle of the batter, and then form that batter into a ball very skillfully, and it's really kind of mesmerizing to watch them make it. And then this kind is topped with all different sorts of things. So we've got some brown sauce, and also a mayonnaise, and tons of green onions, and also these bonito flakes, which kind of look like they're moving or they're alive, but they're actually just little thin slices of dried fish. So let's try one of these out. You can see it's almost just like a little bag because it's barely cooked on the inside, just on the outside crispy, but then the whole inside is like liquid, and there's a chunk of octopus. So let's try one of these out. I hope I don't burn myself. So the batter, as I mentioned, is very undercooked on the inside. It's still really creamy, and there's a nice firm chunk of sort of chewy octopus on the inside. I really love the octopus. It's kind of tangy from the mayonnaise and the sauce that they put on the top, and a little hint of green onion. Those are super addicting. Okay, we have our ramen. We are inside the restaurant. This just smells absolutely incredible, and the tonkatsu ramen here in Fukuoka was created here in Fukuoka, and it's characterized by a very thick, creamy broth. So the restaurant did actually have an English menu, and it recommended you just try the broth and the noodles before adding anything else. So just check out this bowl here. It's absolutely beautiful. We ordered up the chashu roast pork version, so lots of pieces of pork around the outside, a couple little green onions, and then some wood ear mushrooms. So just check that out. Look at how creamy that broth is. Wow. Okay, let me try the broth here. Wow. Wow, that is extremely creamy. It's like milk almost. Very, very, very thick. And there's a very thin layer of oil on the top as well. Let's try these noodles next. Oh yeah. They're soft on the outside, but very firm on the inside, and they do an amazing job at retaining the broth on the outside. The broth is where the flavor is coming from here. That is boiled for countless hours. Okay, we just waited at a stall that's selling some fresh oysters and also uni, sea urchin, but we ordered up 2 of the medium-sized oysters. The guy is shucking the oysters up fresh right out front. I suppose these are medium-sized, even though they look absolutely massive to me. I'm gonna start with some of this lemon juice here. Try not to put too much. Oh, that might have been a little bit too much. That's okay. And also Tabasco. Be a little bit generous with the Tabasco. And I don't know, this may or may not be a one-biter. Yeah, let's try this out. This just looks so, so good. All right. That was extremely fresh and delicious. Certainly a big one-biter, but it has just such an amazing kind of natural ocean flavor, and then very sour from that lemon juice, and a little bit spicy and acidic from the Tabasco sauce I put on. Wow, that was an incredible single bite. We are sitting down now in the Okonomiyaki restaurant, and this place is called Fukuoka. It's super cool. We had to wait in a little bit of a line. Just put your name down when you first get here, and we are sitting bar side, and they're going to serve our Okonomiyaki, which is a savory Japanese pancake. So we ordered the pork kind, and this is just kind of looks like a sloppy mess, but it really smells incredible. So there is an egg in there, tons of bean sprouts, tons of cabbage, and then a little bit of batter as well. And then it's topped with sweet, kind of like a Worcestershire sauce, and then tons of mayonnaise you can see squiggled on there, and then also some shredded seaweed flakes. So let me kind of break this up with the spatula here. Sometimes people refer to it as a Japanese pizza, the way that you have to eat it, kind of cutting it into these triangles. But it smells just so aromatic and delicious. So there, I've broken up a piece. So let's grab this piece right here and try that. Oh, that is phenomenal. There is a lot of sauce going on there. So it's a little bit sweet from that dark sauce, but a little bit kind of tangy from the mayonnaise. You can taste the seaweed flakes coming through as well, and I got a little piece of pork in there. But overall, the texture is very kind of sloppy. It's really interesting. It's almost like a stew that you fried into a solid. It's really interesting, but delicious and super addicting. Skin down. Next up was the grilled unagi. So after the charcoal was done heating up, he used this really red hot looking charcoal to grill the unagi, very smoky, and you can actually see the eel shrinking in size. It's on a couple little skewers to allow him to keep flipping it, but maybe he only grilled it for 6 or 7 minutes, and then it's put into a steamer for about 10 to 15 minutes depending on the thickness and the size of the eel.
Steam. That one he did without steam.
Right.
There's 2 ways.
So let me try this eel. Oh, that was just like butter. It just melts in your mouth. Okay, we've ordered up our soba, as you just saw from the vending machine, and she made it up. This is such a cool stall right on the side of the road, and check this bowl of soba out. So sometimes soba will refer to the buckwheat noodles. Here in Okinawa, Okinawan soba is not buckwheat noodles, it's just a regular wheat noodle, almost thicker like a udon, not quite, but a little bit thicker than soba. I got the sanmaniku soba, which is the braised pork belly. So you can see those huge slabs of pork belly, and I believe these are some sort of a fish cake, and then just topped with some green onions, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So let's dig in. Next up, I'm gonna try a piece of this pork belly. Check that out. That is an absolute massive slab of braised pork. Let's try that. Oh man, very light flavor. Again, just porky. It's almost a little bit like sweet, almost kind of honey flavor to it. We have overflowing rolls of tons of uni, sea urchin, and that is just gotta be one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I think there's some sushi rolls underneath there, but I can't even really tell. So let me try to grab this without destroying it too much here. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah. Those are sticking together pretty good. Oh, I'm losing my uni. Okay, let's try it like that. Mmm. Oh, that is really good, actually. Oh man, that might be the best uni I've ever had. Wow. Describing uni as creamy is such an understatement. It is so smooth, and it's really rich. Sometimes it's salty, but this time it's not so salty, and sometimes you kind of get a little bit of a metallic taste, which I can taste a little bit here, but not as much as some of the ones I've had before. That is some seriously fresh uni sea urchin. Our highball has come, whiskey and soda water, Wilkinson soda water. So let's make this up. Pour our soda water in there. I don't know exactly what kind of whiskey they're using. Probably Suntory whiskey. And cheers. Oh yeah, that's a little bit strong. We usually get the ginger ale or a lemon highball, but they just had straight highball. That's really good though, and good way to cool off. It's very hot here in Okinawa. We're in the covered shopping arcade, but the izakaya is sort of set back in an alley. And I love these style bars here in Japan. We are sitting down now at the sushi sashimi shop. We ordered up some Otoro, which is the belly of the tuna. This tuna, presumably, you can see that I'm sitting right next to, which is really cool. A unique feature about this shop, and just check out this tuna. That looks absolutely beautiful. So this is the fattiest version that you can get. I'm just gonna move this little flour, and I'm gonna try this piece. Oh. Okay, that literally took less than 5 seconds to completely liquefy in my mouth. It is so oily and fatty that just the heat from inside your mouth completely disintegrates it. That is some high quality sushi. Wow. Look at the layers of fat on there, and that is a thick cut. I actually prefer when the sushi is not super uniformly cut. This is kind of just whatever cut, and it is really delicious. So last piece, big piece of sushi. I know I've mentioned a lot of famous products from Okinawa, like the bitter melon goya, or also the umi budo, the sea grapes, but another very famous product is their brown sugar. So we've got two of these famous donuts here with the brown sugar flavor. They look really good. They're big, kind of, not donuts, they don't have a hole in the middle, but they're like a Timbit from Tim Hortons in Canada, but extra large. So let's try this out. Oh man. Oh, that's wonderful. It's almost like spongy on the inside. It's very firm and kind of dense, but at the same time there's lots of pockets of air. It's not overly sweet. I kind of think it has a toffee flavor. It's really good. The outside is crispy, but the inside is super spongy and delicious. This was only 60 cents or 60 yen, so really, really good price and really, really good donut. Oh man. So we are in the sake kind of dungeon, almost like a bunker, and it's just filled with sake bottles, and you can do a tasting down here. So we've got 3 bottles here. This one is a dry kind. This is the traditional sake flavor. This one is aged 21 years. Got the first one here. This is the dry kind from Gifu. It's actually not as strong as I thought it might be. It's actually very smooth. So we have our second glass here. This one is from Niigata, and this is like the traditional sake flavor. It has almost like a fruitiness to it. Kind of smells almost like citrusy. Yeah, that's really good. And then the last one, because of its aging, it's got a little bit of a kind of yellow brownish tinge to it. Oh, that's nice too. That one's a little bit kind of warm, and it almost tastes like woody. So we just picked up our first little snack of the day. They didn't have any of the menchikatsu, the meat cutlets, prepared yet, but they did have this one, which is like a fish cake. It looks like there's some potatoes in there, some onions, maybe some carrots, and it's this really cool little local shop. They're frying up all kinds of things in this huge vat of oil, and this is hot and fresh out of the fryer. So let me give this a try. Oh yeah. Don't underestimate these things. They are packed with flavor. It is definitely a little bit oily and greasy for breakfast, but there's a sweetness from that fish cake. There's definitely some sugar mixed into that fish cake batter. There's some crunchy bits in there. There's potatoes, nice soft carrots. Oh man, that's actually really good. And I love the little bit hint of like onion flavor in there too. It's not actually very crispy. It's kind of soft, almost like a baked potato. So we are at our next spot, and we are trying something that I love, and that is Oden, Japanese hot pot. So it is, all the ingredients are here, and they are simmering away in a stock of dashi, which is dried bonito flakes and dried kelp, and then some soy sauce, some sake, lots of different ingredients. It's actually a secret recipe, so we don't know exactly, but it smells amazing. So we've ordered up a couple different things, and the first that I have here is this, and that is the daikon radish, a massive piece of daikon radish. And it is not very easy to find good oden in Tokyo, or oden at all. So I'm going to try this out, and it just smells incredible. Oh, That is so soft. It's almost like a baked potato that is ridiculously soft, and it is soaked up all that broth phenomenally. It's a little bit, you can taste like some soy sauce saltiness, and a little bit kind of that dried bonito fishiness too. Oh man, that is awesome. We are at a restaurant right now called Jinin Sushi, and we are the first ones in line, so we're the first ones here sitting counter. We are here to try their famous eel butter. Let's try that out, and it's wrapped in a little piece of seaweed. That's gotta be the coolest looking piece of sushi I've ever seen. It honestly tastes like when you roast a marshmallow on a bonfire, and then that butter just soaks into that eel and completely disintegrates in your mouth. The butter is melting, so I have to eat my second piece now. Try that. So we have our Taiyaki, the fish-shaped Japanese pastry. Quite unique. It's simple though. It's just stuffed with red bean. We got it from this really cool corner shop here. You can get red bean, you can get custard. So we got red bean. I think that's the most traditional. Let me try. I'm gonna go for a little bit of the tail and a little bit of the belly. Wow. There's a lot of red bean in there. That is super, super crispy on the outside. It's got a little smoky flavor. That red bean is sweet bean flavor. I actually like the tail part because it's like a little cracker. Look at that. Oh man. That's actually a perfect little snack. Our yakitori has arrived, the grilled skewers. We have all the different parts of the chicken. Check this out. So the first one here, this one's my favorite. This is the minced chicken called tsukune, and it's kind of like a chicken ball. Next up is chicken thigh. This is chicken skin. This is thigh with leek. This is the chicken throat. This one, chicken butt. This one is chicken breast wrapped in a shiso leaf with a little bit of wasabi on top, and then chicken heart. And it smells just so smoky. The whole room started filling up with smoke as he was finishing these up. So let's dig into this. So I'm gonna start with the tsukune. I'm gonna dip it in a little bit of this mustard on the side. Oh, that is extremely soft minced chicken, really smoky. There's a little bit of a sweet sauce on the outside. Wow. That is so soft and tender. I'm gonna save a little bit for spring. Next up, I'm going to try the chicken throat. I don't think I've ever tried throat before, but I've got a little bit of chili powder on the side. Dip it in a little bit of this. It's very cartilaginous. So we are sitting down now. We ordered from a vending machine, kind of touchscreen vending machine, and they have a couple different options. We went with a set menu. It comes with a miso soup, rice, and then the tempura don. I'm not exactly sure what's gonna be in it, so he's frying them up fresh in this huge vat, once again of oil. A little greasy breakfast today, but that's okay. So let's see what we get. So our tempura has arrived. You can see we've got a selection of different things. The first one here is, this is lotus root. And the next one, my all-time favorite, is just shrimp. This one, sweet potato. I think back here, this is maybe a piece of squid. It's kind of hard to identify. Hiding in back here, I've got a huge chunk of pumpkin, and then also one more underneath, and that is a piece of fish. So So I'm just gonna go in right away, try out this sweet potato, and it's served with this amazing ponzu sauce with grated daikon radish inside. You can see those kind of chunks of daikon radish, and oh, this is gonna be so good. Look at that golden crispy skin. Let's give that a try. Oh. Yum, that is awesome. So we're sitting down in the whiskey bar. We're on the second floor here, and the bartender just created one of the most interesting preparations of a drink I've ever seen. So first he actually took this ice block and formed it using only a knife in his hands into a perfect sphere. So it's like a perfect ball of ice, you can see. So we've got whiskey on the rocks. This is a Japanese whiskey. This is the bottle here. The company's name is Nikka, and the distillery's name is Yoichi. So it's a single malt whiskey, and we have it on the rock, only one. Let me try it. Oh yeah, it smells like really deep, rich. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like very smoky, almost a little bit, maybe like vanilla. Oh yeah, that is good, and nice and cold. This is the Doteyaki, which is something I've never actually tried. So it's on these sticks, and they've been simmering in miso. This is beef tendon, just simmering away in that beautiful miso paste. This looks really good, and this is a specialty of Osaka. So let me try this out first. Oh wow. So the texture is really chewy, very gelatinous, and then it's smothered in that kind of creamy miso, and it's actually got a sweetness to it, a little bit of kind of fermented soybean flavor, but really it's all about that texture, nice and chewy. So we have ordered our shaved ice. Check this out here. It is a small mountain of ice. And then we ordered the adzuki bean, the red bean kind. So you can see underneath there, those adzuki beans are hiding. And let's just try this, get some ice. This is another one of those little mom and pop style shops here in Okinawa. Oh man. Oh, that's nice. That is not too sweet whatsoever. Super cold, refreshing. Those beans are extremely soft. They have them soaking in big buckets back there. I guess that's to make them nice and tender like they are. Oh man, that's awesome. Definitely not too sweet. That is just right. And I couldn't picture anything more I would want today on a hot day in Okinawa.
Final thoughts? Well, that was absolutely delicious. Such a good way to cool off on a hot day, especially here in Okinawa where it is super hot. I really love the concept of the vending machine, and that was just absolutely delicious. I can't even finish it. I'm so full.
Our Kushikatsu has arrived. You can see that golden, crispy, deep fried batter. So we have all different kinds of things. Let me try to remember what they all are. This first one here, this is lotus root. Next up is deep fried onion. This one here is just the normal Kushikatsu, which is beef. Next up is cheese, something that's very sinfully delicious, deep fried cheese. This is chicken breast, and then this one is chicken thigh. And then last but not least, we have shiitake mushrooms. So the key here though is in the sauce. It's all about the sauce. So on every table you'll see that we have a little kind of metal canister with ponzu sauce, which is a citrus-based sauce. It's very kind of watered down, and there's a golden rule, which is you can only dip once. So it is very inappropriate to dip more than once. That's why you also have on your table a bit of cabbage leaves. So if you actually need to dip more than once, you just use the cabbage to scoop the sauce and then pour it on your kushikatsu. So I'm gonna start with the beef. Let's give it a quick dip in that ponzu sauce, get it nice and smothered. All right, let's try. Wow, there is nothing healthy about that, but it is certainly delicious. All right, our sashimi don or sashimi bowl has arrived, and this looks absolutely beautiful. So let me walk you through this bowl here. So we get the maguro, the #1 on their menu, which is the tuna cut. It looks like kind of medium fatty, not too lean piece. Some cucumbers in there, some pickled cabbage, nice chunk of wasabi. There's a shisho leaf under there, some shredded egg and shredded nori. And then this is the umibudo, which is the sea grapes, famous Okinawan sea grapes, which we tried yesterday. This looks absolutely beautiful, so let's dig in. Okay, I'm gonna go for a piece of sashimi here, no wasabi, some rice, some green onions, egg, seaweed. Oh, so fresh. Wow. That tuna has an amazing texture, super fresh, super soft, no chewy bits whatsoever. And those chives on top have a really strong onion flavor. That's where most of the flavoring is coming from. But that tuna is just like butter in my mouth. So let me try some of the umibudo, the sea grapes here. These are awesome. We tried them yesterday. Oh man. It's like an explosion of flavor in your mouth. A little bit salty and a little bit almost seafoody too. Thanks for watching the top 31 street foods to try in Japan. Leave a comment down below and let me know what country you'd like to see me do next. And make sure if you haven't already subscribed, hit the bell icon so you're notified, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Chopstick Travel. Bye.